every woman battles with the idea of growing old, many quietly wrestle with what aging represents. Identity crisis, changing priorities, and that subtle fear of growing old lurks in the corners of their minds. And at 40 plus, that time seems to be moving faster than her dreams. Hey everybody, and welcome to the Level Up Director podcast. I am Coach G, your certified transformational coach. And with a master's in psychology and a PhD in life, my goal is simple: to guide women 40 and over through the emotional, psychological, and cultural shifts that comes with stepping into a new phase of your life. Now, together, we are going to shift your perspective, strengthen your emotional foundation, honor the woman that you are, and that version of you that you're striving to be. So in these next few episodes, we're going to be talking about that part of life we will all face, aging, and doing it gracefully. The challenges, the fears, the changes, not just in our bodies, but also in our minds, the questions and uncertainties all of this aging brings, and how to meet the moment with grace and emotional fortitude. And while some women seem to embrace this next phase of their life with ease, a lot of us find it mentally, emotionally, and sometimes physically challenging. But by the end of this series, I hope to have helped those beautiful and amazing women who are listening to rethink what it means to grow older in a clear, more emotionally grounding way, that you will begin to see that aging isn't just about physical changes. It's also about emotional processes, how you see yourself, and what an amazing time this can be for you. I want you to start embracing the fact that aging isn't just about the things I just mentioned, but it can also be a season of clarity, changing your perspective from the doom and gloom of everything is slipping away to something more powerful that is happening for you. So keep an open heart as you take this journey and experience the mental transformation about growing older. So for many of us, the world's messaging about aging have shaped so many of our beliefs. And because of this, I want to talk about identity shifts, strengthening your emotional regulation, and examine the cultural and societal messages that framed aging for so many of us. This is your chance to rewrite the story. So identity shifts after 40 are some of the most profound transitions you will ever experience. And this is where your evolution truly begins and things start to unfold slowly. I remember still being carded at 45, but then one day I found myself tears streaming down my face in a cold store parking lot as I read a sign on the outside of the store: "Today, Senior Citizens Day, 55 and over, 40% off." I had just turned 55, and it brought on a world of emotions. So have you ever watched curtains as they slowly pull back on a stage? And before you know it, there you are, your life playing in real time. The mistakes you made because you either didn't know any better or you wanted to belong. The heartbreaks you thought you never recover from, the old friends who helped in shaping your perspective about who you were, and the new ones who saved you from yourself. The career changes you made without hesitation, and the ones you still wish you hadn't. I saw my life in seconds, and the anxiety I felt was too much. I was too overwhelmed and in denial, to the point that I wouldn't even ask for the discount. Imagine you are watching all of this about yourself on a screen. And maybe we'll say it's the screen of your mind. You see every person, every line they spoke. You replay every episode, and that's when something in you changes. You start questioning things you once accepted without hesitation. And you wonder how much of your life was built on the expectations of others instead of a life you wanted for yourself. And you start seeing and viewing patterns you used to ignore about yourself in a whole different light. And whereas chaos was either your middle name or your stomping ground, now you crave peace. Not only are you longing for authenticity in relationships, you start looking for it in yourself. Proximity to others is no longer that important to you. But what you need to realize is that this isn't something that just started happening. It was going on in the background, developing all this time. Aging has a way of bringing things to the forefront, things that the stage lights for the first time are revealing. Midlife individuation is that psychological and emotional process of becoming more fully who you are in this phase of your life, a shift that psychotherapists describe as one of the most important transitions a person will ever experience. And this is when you begin the work of separating who you truly are from the roles, the expectations, and even the identities you took on in the first half of your life. But something happens inside of you, and you go from achievement to wanting meaning to life, from doing to being, and from pleasing others to being honest about who you are and what is truly important. And for my ladies of the Black diaspora, this change will sometimes feel like you're peeling back all these layers of cultural expectations of the strong Black woman. But those survival strategies that has been passed down for generations to us, this is a time when you will begin to ask yourself, who in the world are you? I mean, like, for real. When you hit your 40s, you start searching for the real you, because you realize you have been this chameleon who has changed for everyone else all your life, because performing meant to be a part of, to be accepted by, to be liked. It meant being a part of something, even if that something didn't align with who you felt you were inside, your goals, your values, your beliefs. These thoughts aren't signs that you're in some type of crisis. They are merely signs of your growth, because you are now evolving into someone wiser than that younger person in the 20s and in your 30s. Your emotional regulation is important during this time, because identity shifts many times brings on old wounds and fears to the surface. And when a woman starts changing, her body reacts many times before her mind can make sense of what's really happening. And whereas you probably felt like if a company was full of drama, you didn't have to stay there. You just kind of hopped like a bunny rabbit, like from one job to the other. You weren't afraid of losing a job. I remember I used to say all the time, I'll get a job. And some of y'all right now are shaking your heads and saying, yeah, that was me too. I sure did. But now you suddenly start feeling this anxiety when you think about changing careers. You may start feeling guilty when you set up boundaries with family members. You might feel grief when you realize you need to let go of a relationship because it's no longer aligning with who you are. And so you just kind of coast along for a little while. For Black women, emotional regulation is an act of resistance, because we weren't raised in cultures that encourage emotional softness. We were raised to be strong, to endure, to push through, because we had to survive this world and all the demands that were being thrown at us. Learning to regulate your emotions is learning to reclaim your humanity. It's learning to say, I deserve gentleness too. Hey everybody, this is Coach G again, reminding you that your life is not behind you. It's only just beginning. If this episode has been of value to you, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and share with other women that you believe are ready for a change in perspectives. And meet me back here next Wednesday at 6 a.m. on the Level Up Directive podcast, when we will continue our series on aging and doing it gracefully. And until next time, get out there and conquer the world. And if not the world, conquer yourself. Bye.